they still found their way into my life. Don't forget why you're doing it in the first place. I believe not only in myself, but in my purpose. Let me get my degree. Wait, where is it? Oh. Stop. You see what that says? Diana Justice Shepherd. Do you guys want to see me when I was a wee lad? I still kind of smile the same. What's up, guys? I'm back with another video, and today will be a post-college kind of reflection rot. I know a lot of subscribers came from my NYU content. I'm very excited to be talking about, how my overall experience was. It was a good time. I have no regrets, so let's get into it. When I started at NYU, it was 2020, so for the first 2 years, it was COVID. Everybody was on Zoom. All my classes were on Zoom. We weren't allowed in each other's rooms. We had to sit far apart. If we wanted to talk to someone, we'd be in our hallway, and we would be sitting at the door of our dorm, and another person would be at the door of their dorm, and we'd be talking across the hallway. It was that serious, and the rules were pretty enforced. One way that I met my closest friends, I guess freshman year, was because we were in the acting program. We would meet up at 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. and we would all travel to the Brooklyn campus. I feel like that was the reason, we all got so close, is because we would get up every morning. We didn't want to, take our classes, because it was acting, voice, dance. And if you are an acting major but your roommate is not, it could be a little disturbing for them trying to do their work. So we all just went to this random unoccupied office building, and it was so fun. We used to get lunch every day there, just do random stuff. Do a snap. What happened?
I just pushed it in the hallway.
I enjoyed that. So even though it was COVID, I still was lucky enough to, meet the people in my life. I was still able to find my community. They still found their way into my life. So yeah, freshman year, amazing. Now sophomore year going toe-to-toe with 6th grade. If you don't know, you will soon. One positive about the freshman year experience in 2020 was I didn't have a roommate. I had one, but she ended up leaving, and my room was huge, huge. I never got that space again. So I would say that was probably the one positive about everybody being so spaced out, is I had a bunch of space in my room. But it's also I had a suite mate, but not a roommate. I even remember making friends in freshman year. Outside of the acting program, it was a little difficult to meet people in other majors. I remember, writing letters with this one girl that lived in my dorm. It was nice to just have a random pen pal for a while. She lived in my dorm, so we met up after, writing these letters. And I felt like that was a really sweet and authentic way to get to know somebody. I also remember mostly everything was closed, so the friends that I made would come over to my dorm, and we'd hang out in the basement, and we would do things like watch movies together, eat food, play piano. Create songs. I feel even though we were in lockdown, I still was being creative. I still was nurturing that spirit. And so I still say going to college in 2020, when, everything was shut down in New York City, was definitely worth it. Because, I got to meet my closest friends, and I got to create art, and I got to study what I love, albeit a little bit differently. I think things started to pick up a little more, definitely junior, senior year. I got really close with the people in my class. I remember we had this girl's birthday party. Happy birthday to you. And it was literally outside. This was in the dead of winter. We were hitting the piñata outside in the cold. My fingers were literally blocks of ice. And I just remember we were at the river celebrating in that way, and then going to a bar. Doing this stuff with my classmates and growing close to them that way. I mean, some people that I was close with in school, we're not as close now, but I don't think that kind of dilutes the memories that I have of them. If you're like wanting to meet more people, not only talk to the people in your classes, but join a club. I would say joining the Taekwondo club at NYU. I was in both karate and Taekwondo, so I made some karate hotties, that's what I call them. I was in karate for about 2 years, and then once I moved over to Taekwondo, that was really when there was a big group of people. And I was a little bit nervous at first because like everybody previously kind of knew each other and I didn't, but girl, that didn't even matter. Like, it was such a loving environment. I talked about this a little in another video, but I started NYU with this idea of who I was and being so tied to my identity and my blackness. Once I started, discovering more playwrights, more writers, I kind of became free from that in a way, because not free from my blackness, but like free from feeling forced to do just one kind of work. I was challenged not only by like my peers and my teachers, but by my own thoughts of who I was, to become and to recognize who I really was and how to create art from that authentically. The environment is like, basically you're spending 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. with these people. You're doing not only your own work, your own monologue, your own scenes, but you're watching their work all day. So we spend a lot of time together as drama majors, at least like 8 hours, maybe 3 times a week. So you're spending basically 24 hours with these people. You either gonna love them or you're gonna hate them. And I chose the first one. There was this one time that literally, I love my junior class so much. We wanted to all make this short film. And so I guess the program that we were in, we weren't really feeling like our needs were met. So we were like, we're gonna do this, we're gonna plan this on our own. The shooting location was literally my grandma's house. Like, hi grandma. We were all in my house. Like, some people slept over and we were just all shooting our little scenes. We rented this camera. I was doing sound. Oh girl, I was struggling. Like, I'll never forget that. And neither will my grandma. Memories like that are so precious, and they make me so happy that, that I met those people at school and that I connected with them in that way. So I would say NYU not only made me smarter, but it connected me into a community and with people that were so totally different from me. It also shaped a lot of the views that I have about the world, about myself, about politics. I'd say definitely going to a liberal school and getting to meet so many people who come from different backgrounds, who are different identities, who are different culturally, who are different, who identify different sexually. It just opened my eyes in a way that differentiates me from my family. I'd say because I went to this college and because I got to see so much and experience so much, a different kind of love and acceptance grew inside of me. I feel like I had the ideal, the movie college experience. I sat on that patch of lawn with my multicultural friends. I did.
Yeah, guys.
I did. I'm lucky NYU didn't snipe me with their cameras and put me on their brochure. Even though it was a PWI, I definitely didn't feel like there was a lack of blackness and finding my community. Like, there was BSU, there was AAP, there was different groups that helped me feel supported culturally. Like, I just remember going to a Friendsgiving and I wasn't really close with all of those people, maybe 1 or 2 people there, but it was still such a welcoming environment. And it's like traditions like that were upheld still. I definitely didn't feel like, because I was in class with people who maybe didn't share the same race as me, I didn't feel isolated, even though I was the minority in those classes. But I'd say another thing that NYU gave me was a lot of confidence in myself. And the instructors and professors at NYU, I'm so thankful for them, because they hold a special place in my heart, especially the Gallatin ones, especially the Gallatin teachers. They really nurtured, my inner artist. They told us from the beginning, don't think the way that we think, but form your own opinions based on what you're reading and what you're writing. And I would say getting the opportunity to do that, it was hard sometimes, being in the library for 12 hours straight, writing an essay. gosh, that was hard. And it was like, I thought I was gonna die in a zombie. But when I think back on it, it's like, those were the moments where I learned so much. Those are the moments that gave me the backbone to stand up. Getting to work with students who are all figuring it out. Trust me, it was a process. Like, being on set for that many days, you're not getting paid, but I'm doing what I love, and I'm helping others do what they love to. I'm helping others create a story, and I'm just a little piece of their puzzle. I'm very grateful that I have experience in that way, because when I go on a big set, or I go on a professional set with their drones and their whatever they're called. I wasn't in film. Their dollies. I'm not as scared, because you know, I messed up already in the student films. I messed up already, and I know what I want to do differently. So I have the confidence to do so. I found myself taking up space in ways that I couldn't have done before. That was a big note that I got my freshman, sophomore years, was to take up space, project my voice, and be confident in who I was, especially when performing. I was constantly put in environments at NYU where that was, or would have to be challenged, where I would have to speak up for myself. And I'd say in senior year, there was this teacher I had who was a sub for the year. So he was staying the whole year. He didn't want to be there. He was having a discussion, but the kind of discussion where you don't let anyone else talk. I remember him talking about character actors versus minor, whatever, other kinds of actors, and how you have to know your type. And you guys already know, when I heard this, I was like, because one thing about me is I hate being in a box, and I hate other people telling me that I have to be in a box because of, you know, what I look like. You don't have to view yourself in the way that everyone else does. You can do the work that, you know, inspires you. The right people are gonna see it. So I spoke up in that class, and it was very hard because everyone else was silent, and I felt like I was doing something wrong in the moment. He kept cutting me off. He kept cutting what I was saying off. He kept, you know, trying to silence me. but obviously it took a lot of courage and a lot of bravery to stand up to a teacher and be like, I don't think that's right. Like, he was talking from his own personal experience. I wouldn't have done that. Like, if somebody told me I was this, I would have enough idea about who I was to challenge that. I don't have to fall into what someone else thinks about me, especially an agent or a manager. Get a new one. I was crying because I didn't like being shut down in that way, and my voice was screaming at me to speak up and to talk about this issue. And it was so a little bit emotional for me, because I had been, you know, not taking up space, silent, agreeable for years. It was kind of like, you know, this little discourse. All the teachers are definitely not like that, but you might encounter some. Be brave enough to speak about what matters to you, especially even if that person is in a place of authority. Of course, do it with respect, but NYU is a place that does encourage people with many different ideas to speak up. Now, I know you guys saw what was happening with the protest, because that was a big thing of my senior year too. It's weird because I started 2020 with the Black Lives Matter movement protests. Like, I would look down and I would literally see from my dorm like swarms of police. The Gaza protests started happening. My roommate was a big advocate too. Lots of protests in Washington Square Park, on campus. NYU put up this big wall between, you know, where people were protesting on the square, and it was kind of like ironic because NYU promotes the campus as a place without walls. Now let's talk about life after college, the post-college rot. Well, come and join me. A big question that I got even senior year was, what are your plans next? And as an artist, that was a really scary thing to hear. And now it's not so scary for me, but I'll tell you why. I'm a drama major, so a lot of career paths looked different for, you know, me versus my friends. Like, my friends who studied coding or computer engineering, they're getting 9 to 6 jobs straight away. They're making 6 figures straight away. And me, I'm still kind of wondering where I'll go. You know, my plan at the time was to find representation. Now that I have it, what's next? Like, it's always what's next as an artist. It's different now because there are no deadlines, there are no people pushing me to do my work. It's totally up to me to write, to create, to practice. All of these things where I was placed in school and I maybe thought they were a drag at times, they kept me on a schedule. But after graduation, developing that schedule was up to me. And I feel like that was a big shift for me, but I got it down now. I got it down. But before, I was kind of like just floating. And I was so worried and I was so anxious and I need a job right now. I need a film right now. I did book a short film right after, around June, and I went to fly to LA to shoot it. And I was excited about it for a while, but after that I was like, it's October now. And I'm like, what am I doing next? What can be especially difficult in a time, in a mindset like that, is looking at what other people are doing and looking at their successes and comparing it to your own journey. I had a conversation with a girl from my Taekwondo team who was also a dance major. We talked about how it feels to maybe see other people rising up, to see people you sat in class with booking TV shows, booking movies, booking Broadway, and for you to not know what you're doing next, that feeling of imposter syndrome. It's very easy to compare yourself, especially in this industry, but you don't know what's planned for you. You may be looking at somebody else who is soaring and be so envious of them, but at the same time you have something planned for you in 3 months that you don't know about. And that kind of hope I have in my life, because I know my purpose for acting, I know the work that I want to do, and I know how it will benefit others. So I have faith in myself and in God, because I don't need to be envious of people who are in the positions that I want to grow into. I need to be happy for them. You guys have received the same training, which means you're fully capable of doing it too. Anyone that you see, like your classmates doing, anything that you see someone else doing, you fully have that spirit in yourself to do as well. You don't need to compare yourself in that way. And I bet when you're like 40 or something, you're not even gonna remember. I guess a way to negate imposter syndrome is to have faith in yourself, is to have confidence in yourself. I'd say my way of doing that is preparing. I feel like for auditions especially, if I'm not prepared, if I'm not memorized or confident in what I'm doing, it may come out a little bit shaky. But when I do that preparation, I'm ready to go. And in the meantime, in the waiting period, cue the work that you want to do. If you want to do movies, for example, watch the films that make you excited. Figure out what kind of things that you want to do. That way you can gravitate towards it. Me, I'm a screenwriter as well as an actor, so I need to work on my screenplay. I can't dilly-dally really in between because I've always got something or some project to nurture in myself. I also, oh my gosh, guys, I was in therapy and I was talking to my therapist about this. That's another thing too. If you're an artist, I do recommend you get a therapist because but she was telling me, about how to put myself out there more. So I made a business card. Do you know what these business cards are inspired by?
New card. What do you think?
Oh my God. It even has a watermark.
That's my headshot, y'all. You may meet a stranger. For example, I met this lady in an Uber and she was the head of a film festival. And I asked her, do you need any volunteers? And the next day, I was hosting her film festival. I was asking people the panel questions, and I was just like, I got into this because I was talking to someone. So always being able to advocate for your work and your art and having confidence in yourself and that way will open a lot of doors for you. And if you don't have the confidence in yourself, have confidence in God and He'll do the rest. When you graduate, especially as an artist, remember that you're going to spend the rest of your life, hopefully, doing something that you love. Your life path may look different from others who are committed to their jobs and making money, but you will be doing something that fulfills you in a way that's different in a way that makes people feel. And so don't give up on that. Don't give up on that feeling, because you started this for a reason. And don't judge your timeline, and don't compare your timeline to other people's timelines. And I know that's hard, and that's definitely a lesson that I'm learning as well. Don't be shy also to start creating your own work. Start making your short films, and you might need money for that. You might need like a part-time job to save up to do that. But don't forget why you're doing it in the first place. One of the things that was taught to me at NYU was why statements. When your passion is rooted in your purpose and why you're doing something, it's a lot easier to not give up in the same way, and to remember why you're doing the work that you're doing, and to have confidence in yourself as an artist when you know why you're doing something. For example, one of my big why statements is because I want to create work that, you know, my little sisters will watch and will enjoy, and will be able to look at themselves differently, will not have to be in the same box that I was. And I want to do that not only for my little sisters, but for a lot of girls that look like me. That's one of the reasons why I'll never stop creating, and I'll never stop acting, and I'll never stop storytelling in general. I believe not only in myself, but in my purpose, that this is something that's going to bring more light to the world. This is my last NYU video. It's a little bit bittersweet. I know there's a lot of people in my community that came from these videos, and I'm very grateful, especially to some of the guys that have DM'd me and asked me about NYU. But my journey on this channel is going to be shifting a little bit more from my journey in college to my journey in adulthood. And I hope that you guys will stick around, and I hope that we'll be able to grow a community that really explores what it's like being an artist and what it's like being a young adult, and go from there. So yes, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, please subscribe. Thank you for watching it, and bye.